So those of you who are here last Sunday or who watched the service online, it's posted on YouTube, will have heard that I shared several of my favorite poems, including one by Lynn Unger named Earthworms. Now, the point that I pulled out from that poem is that earthworms provided me with a metaphor to understand my relationship to the world. That I'm not meant to go out into the world, but rather let all that I encounter in the world pass through me, become part of me, and leave, having passed through me, a little softer, a little bit more open and spacious. Now, I skipped the final verse last week, but the lines are really relevant for today. And it says, "For every grain that enters, welcome. For every passing mote, be blessed." Welcome, be blessed. This helped me think about spiritual postures, and specifically how there are perhaps no two more significant spiritual postures that we could hold as a beloved community than the posture of welcome and the posture of blessing one another. Every time someone comes into our community, whether it's through our doors or in one another's homes, or out as we're doing good work in their community or through a Zoom meeting, shouldn't we be saying and communicating to one another, welcome, be blessed? Have people depart with that in their spirits? Now, sometimes ministers do this thing where they say, ooh, this congregation's really not good at this thing, and I got to preach on it so we all know how to do it. That's not this sermon. One of the things that I hear when I do Exploring UU, which I did 2 weeks ago, that people who are coming to our community say for the first time is, wow, I've visited a lot of different houses of faith, but I've never met one so welcoming. You guys really are warm. And they pull you in and they talk about Laura, right? But it's not just Laura, right? It's not just Laura, it's how we have learned to be with one another. So, what makes people feel welcomed when they come here? Warm smile, right? Eye contact, being greeted by name. Welcome, Dennis. Welcome, Thornell. It's wonderful to see you again, Paula. Lex, every time I see you in person, it lights up my heart, right? Being known, remembered, invoked into this space. It's wonderful for there to be space for you, a seat that you want to sit in, a warm cup of coffee, just right. It should be hot coffee, not warm coffee. I don't drink coffee. Hot coffee, right? Little treats. I'll tell you, my kids hate to miss church because of the happy hour at the end. That's how they feel. It's a very happy time, right? Little refreshment. The new ideas, the sharing with one another. It all creates this sense of people are glad to see me today. People are glad to see me today. And that should not be overlooked. That shan't be overlooked. Did you know that 40% of adults in America today regularly experience loneliness? And so a person who lights up and smiles and says, Diane, thank you for coming today, just does something inside, doesn't it? Reminds me of this poem. Maybe I didn't turn this on. Oh, I'm supposed to be pointing it this way. Small kindnesses. This came to me during the pandemic, but it still is true. Small Kindnesses by Nanusha Lamarisse. I've been thinking about the way when you walk down a crowded aisle, people pull in their legs and let you by. Or how strangers still say bless you when someone sneezes, a leftover from the bubonic plague. Don't die, we are saying. And sometimes when you spill lemons from your grocery bag, someone else will help you pick them up. Mostly we don't want to harm each other. We want to be handed our cup of coffee hot and say thank you to the person handing it, to smile at them and for them to smile back, for the waitress to call us honey when she sets down the bowl of clam chowder, and for the driver in the red pickup truck to let us pass. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire, only these brief moments of exchange. What if they are the true dwelling of the holy, these fleeting temples we make together when we say, here, have my seat. Go ahead, you first. I like your hat. We have so little of each other anymore. But perhaps these small kindnesses, these welcomes, the greeters who smile at us and offer us our name tags, who hand us a piece of information or let us know what's going on during after hour, or the ushers who help us find a seat and hand us our connection card so we can figure out what we want to do next. Perhaps the person who moves in to help you find a good seat. Perhaps these small moments are holy moments of connection and welcome and sustenance. Perhaps they are what invites us in to a fuller level of sharing. Now, what I've learned does not create a welcome is harping on any negative. So we're not going to share the stories of those moments we felt unwelcomed. We all have them. And we go there fast because they're just beneath the skin. But it's as important to share moments of welcome, even these small moments. I had one little over a year ago. I had signed up to be trained to lead the Soul of Aging program, which some of you have been through. And I had been looking forward for this training for years and finally was able to go. And it just so happened the week that it was starting, I got sick with something. It wasn't COVID, but I was down and out. And the program started at 4, and I just needed a nap. And I set my alarm, and I slept through that alarm going off for over an hour. And then I was like, oh my God, I have to get up. And then I got that together, and then I Googled how long the drive time it would take, and given the traffic was not 45 minutes, it was an hour and 15 minutes. And I thought, I gotta get going. And, as I was driving up on 95, all I was thinking was the little message that said, it's really important you be here on time. We create community from the beginning, so please be there with us. And you guys know me. Earliness is not my problem. But so I'm really good, all this to say is when, things have started, I'm really good at the subtle entry. I just go in, I take my seat, I don't fuss, I don't unpack things, I'm just like, there. And I go into this room, like all ready, because I know there's going to be like 50 people to just find like a subtle seat. And oh my goodness, they're all broken up in these little clusters of like 5 people, and they're deeply engaged in conversation, and I could tell that this was not random. Like, there was a group you're supposed to be in, and I thought, my whole game plan was thrown out. And this woman comes up to me when I stand there going, I just don't know what to do, and I think she said, are you Anastassia? And I said, yes. Guess I was the only last one. She goes, let me find your name tag. Here it is. Here's your binder. And I said, I'm so sorry I'm late. I didn't explain because I think The fact is, I was just late. It doesn't make a difference really why. I was late, and I was sorry that I was late. And she looked me in the eye and she said, I'm sure that was not your intention. And she goes, let me show you over to your group. They're waiting, they're over here. And she introduced me. She said, here's Anastassia. She's part of your group. And they pulled up a seat. And you know, the lack of judgment, the understanding, the empathy, it just let me enter in a way that I would not have been able to enter even if I had been 15 minutes early. The grace, right? And so the level of sharing and vulnerability then I felt like I could have was so high. Small kindnesses invite us forward. But I'm not just talking about small kindnesses here. Yes. Mary Oliver, you do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. What we really do here is welcome each other into deep reflection and sharing. We don't come here to be a social club with one another. There are neighborhood block parties, right? There are school events. This is a place where we create moments where we can really open ourselves up, not all the time, but at least some of the time, where we could say, tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. When we fail one another, which we do, we say, you don't have to walk on your knees 100 miles through the desert repenting, right? Don't focus on shame and guilt and grief and punishment. We're not about those things. Welcome is anathema to those things. Instead, just let the soft animal of your body love what it loves, tenderly, generously, mercifully. When we live as these poems instruct, then we will have these times when we can truly welcome one another, not just Sunday mornings or into our small groups, but welcome our full humanity forward. Welcome ourselves with the greatest blessing I know, to know and be known. May we extend that welcome to one another. May it be so, and amen.